So I'm here today with
Michael.
and Michael. How are you doing today?
I'm from Brazil and I study English in Canada. My English is very basic and I'm studying 2 weeks. I am and my wife study here.
That's cool. How do you like Canada?
I like Canada. This life is very beautiful. They sacred and my country is very dangerous in compared the Canada. Okay.
So in Brazil and like in Canada, were there things in Brazil that are like in Canada for you to like access, like food and everything like that?
Yeah. This food in Brazil is very best. In Canada is not bad, but not compared in Brazil. In Brazil is the people is more communication. They speak more. In Canada, these people is more quiet. Okay.
How do you like Canada so far? Like what's like your thoughts like on like the country so far?
It's big, open, and shut, and I get around pretty easy to see. Like, you see the how to get around.
As far as like the quality of life in Canada too, like do you feel like it's been a good experience or has it been like just a different like experience, you know, as opposed to like life like in another country or back home?
Good experience.
And like has like living in this country like kind of like affected like your mental health by any chance? Like,
It improved my mental health.
okay, that's good to know. What were like some ways that you kind of like improved it like while living here?
Improved because I came to Canada to improve my health.
That's cool. And might I ask like which country did you come from?
I came from West Indies and from Kingston.
Okay, that's good to know. And if there's like one like answer that you want to give to people to talk to like recommend like the country and all that, what would you give?
I'll recommend United Kingdom or
In Canada.
Canada?
Yeah.
Country or what?
No, I'm just saying like there's like people that like want to come to like Canada someday too. So like if there's like some
Place in Canada?
yeah.
I'll recommend. I'll say Windsor is a quiet place or Ottawa.
All right, so I'm here today with
AD.
So how long have you like lived in Canada for?
I've been here for like 7 years now.
Okay, that's cool. How do you like the country so far?
I love it. I love Canada. There's so many opportunities, and yeah, I'm grateful to be here. To be honest,
That's good to know. And like the quality of like life, like in the country, like do you find it like kind of like amazing, or do you feel like it's like kind of like different and all that?
it depends on your perspective. I find it amazing. Everything is good with me. To be honest,
What were like some factors that made you like fall in love with the country, and like that were like kind of like different from like the country you kind of like grew up with and all that?
the people, how amazing the people are. You know, everyone here is like more developed, and there's so many opportunities. You can be yourself, authentic, and nobody limits you or judges you, whatever. That's why I love this country.
That's good to know, man. And has it like kind of like improved like your mental health here as opposed to like the country you kind of like grew up with and all that?
I mean, I didn't know about mental health when I was back home, to be honest, even when I was 17. But when I came here, definitely I became more confident, more of myself, because I stepped away from the things that I know. Everything is new here. No family. I'm just here alone, and I love it. It helped me a lot.
That's good to know. And might I ask, like, which country did you kind of like grow up in, like initially?
Ethiopia.
Same, Dinanush.
Oh, you Ethiopian?
Hell
yeah.
So as far as like what you did to like kind of like improve like the mental health and all that, like what were like some ways that you kind of like did it like in this country?
Meditation. I meditated a lot, and also challenging myself. I'm also a coach, by the way. I help people break free from fear of judgment and become confident. And yeah, that's how I did it.
So as far as like like if you want to like give like one final word to people to like recommend about this country, or to like give like a knowledge like in terms of like mental health and all that, like what would you give?
just focus on yourself. Make sure you're meditating. If you're just like working 12 hours a day and you're not doing anything, just watching movies and scrolling, you're gonna lose yourself. Meditate, focus on yourself, go out on a date with yourself, don't be dependent on others, because I feel like it's pretty hard to find friends, especially as a newcomer to Canada. And just focus on yourself, go out on a date and have fun. You'll love it. Yeah.
I'm Sagadalo. Thank you for your time and all the know.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I'm here today with
Declan.
Declan. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. I just taught a skateboarding lesson just on my way back.
Okay, that's good to know, man. So I guess you're like born and raised like in this country and all that, right?
I was born in Vancouver, British Columbia. I just moved out here for university this year.
Okay, that's good to know, man. And how do you like living in Canada or like living in Toronto right now?
I'd say Toronto's nice. I mean, the weather's pretty good. Canada's a good place. It's a good country. People are nice.
It's good to know, man. And has it like kind of like improved like your quality of like life, like living here and like even like living in like Vancouver as well too?
Yeah, I'd say like, there's a lot of opportunities in Vancouver. Especially for me, I'm a skateboarder, so there's a lot of places to skate, especially when it's nice weather and sunny out.
That's good to know, man. And like with skateboarding, like everything else too, like was that like something that like improved like your quality of life, like mental health for the most part too?
Yeah, I think it's an outlet for community. You meet a lot of nice people, you make friends, especially lifetime friends, mentors, and it's just like a good space for people to really kind of collaborate and do things together.
For the most part too, because I know skateboarding is like very like active, like within like going out, like seeing like different places and all that too. So it has to like kind of gave you like a lot of experience, like seeing like different places, like just like knowing the environments, like all that sort of stuff too.
Yeah, I like to just go around and explore. I mean, just skatering around, just finding places to skate and making new friends. One time, we were just out skating and some guy came up and he just started talking to us. It's just a very welcoming kind of, sport, I'd say.
That's good to know, man. And for like one like final word to say, if there's like anything that you want to give like in terms of like, advice for like mental health or like just like like any like remarks about the country or like even like with skateboarding in general, like what would you give?
Yeah, about mental health, I'd say don't bottle it up. Be open, just talk about it. The best thing to do is just talk to people. I know a lot of people who just don't speak about it, and they end up doing things that they'll regret later. So I'd say, yeah, talk about it.
It's good to know, man. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Who am I here today with?
I'm Avery. I'm Max.
And how are you guys doing today?
Chilling, man. Doing pretty good today.
And I'm assuming you guys were born and raised in Canada, right?
I was born and raised in Canada. I'm not. I'm from Hawaii.
Okay, that's cool, man. And as far as like like life in Canada and all that, like how do you guys like the country so far? Like how do you enjoy Canada?
Well, I've been living here for a while, and I come from the West End, and that's pretty okay. But down here, it gets pretty rough every once in a while,
So far, I mean, I'm very new to just living in a city in general. So, it's not that bad. I mean, it's a pretty clean city, but there's sometimes it gets a little rough, but it's fine.
True. And how does like living here like differ from like living in like Hawaii and all that?
Well, first of all, you can actually go places, without needing a car. Everywhere in Hawaii, you need a car to go just about anywhere. You got public transportation, so that's a pretty good thing. And also, it's a little less. You get a little less feeling of community though, just because it's so big. So you don't, back home, everyone's kind of like family. Like you've known everyone forever and everything. So. Yeah, I guess that's the difference.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. And I guess you like which part of like Hawaii did you like kind of like grow up like living in?
I grew up on the Big Island.
Okay, cool to know. And how do you enjoy like your quality like of life like in Canada so far?
I think it's been pretty good. Like we have like free healthcare is pretty huge and everything. Like politically, Canada's in a pretty good place right now. Yeah, It's pretty nice. Prices have been pretty crazy recently, though, at least in Ontario.
Yeah, I mean, it's a quality of life. It's not bad. I mean, as long as you're surrounded by the right guys. Anywhere is pretty good. I'd say.
And I guess like living here, has it like kind of like improved like your mental health for the most part too?
No. Definitely the opposite. I think at least mental health in a city is a huge issue, and Canada is not like a place where it's devoid of mental health crises. Definitely like You'd think that Canada would be a better place to live for mental health, but it's not always. Especially in Toronto, a city's just like a really tough place to live for your mental health.
I'd say for my mental health, I mean, I don't really know how much it has to really do with the city itself, but I guess maybe just being away from home for this amount of time, it always kind of gets to me. But in terms of like support, I don't really know, to be honest. It's all right, I have my friends, That's all I really have to say.
Sure. As far as like in terms of like improving like mental health like in the city or like in Canada in general, like what were like some ways that you feel like that could be like improved like in that sense?
I think more availability to like different resources is definitely in order, and I think also for like the homeless population and a lot of people that are struggling, that don't have the same support as like us students do, like they should definitely get a little more support. I'm not really sure how it works for them, but like there's definitely a lot of people in the city that need support that just don't have access to it.
I think he knows more than I do.
True. And if there's like one final word that you would like to say, like in terms of like just the idea of like Canada or just like anything in general, like what would you like recommend?
I just say love your siblings, just in general. Yeah.
Love your siblings, love your friends, and just no matter how bad it is, just try to get the good. Just try to find the good in what's going on, no matter what.
All right. Thank you for your time, guys. I'm speaking here today with
Kaz.
Candace.
And how are you guys doing today?
Quite well. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Pretty good, thank you.
And you're born like and raised like in this country, right? Or
I was technically born in the States, but I've lived here all my life.
Here and there.
okay, cool. So how do you like Canada so far and all that?
I've been here all my life. Ultimately, I think it's been increasingly more difficult to live here in terms of rent prices and things of that nature. But I will say, generally speaking, I do enjoy the concept of affordable health care and other things of that nature. But generally speaking, I'm not particularly happy with the rent situation most of the time.
Expensive and cold.
And I guess like that's like more so in Toronto or like everywhere like in Canada for the most part?
So I've mainly only lived in like eastern, southern Ontario type of area, so I couldn't really talk too much about the differences between those. But frankly, at the very least, I've been able to pull my own weight and survive. But it has been one of those things where it's like, yeah, I wish it wasn't $9 for a box of cereal. Yeah.
Or like $9 for like eggs and all that. Or $10 for eggs.
One more time, sorry?
Like $9 for like eggs or like $10 for eggs and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's too much. Yeah.
Expensive and cold.
Okay. And has it kind of changed like your quality of like life, like living here and all that?
Has it changed my quality of life living here?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've lived here all my life. So yeah, it stayed the same, but I guess it's changed over time due to inflation. If that's what you're asking.
I've lived abroad for quite a amount of time. The grass is never greener.
Sure. And like in terms of like mental health for the most part, so like even like going to like different like countries and all that, like has like staying in like specific countries like changed like the mental health as opposed to like like staying like in Canada for the most part?
Go again. I have to repeat that question one more time.
It's like in terms of like mental health, like in Canada, like has it like kind of like decreased, like like your mental health like for the most part too, as opposed to like different countries for the most part?
I'm still a young fella. I might seem like an old chunk of coal, but ultimately, I haven't been in this world very long, so I haven't really seen a personal increase of large spikes of depression or the real effect of inflation that somebody else might be feeling from if they grew up in the 80s and now are living in this. Maybe that would be more drastic. For me, it's just I only graduated from high school in 2014 or so it's hard for me to really because I was kind of born into the inflation, if that makes sense. So ultimately, I think it's affected me less. It just seems normal to me, whereas someone else that has been here longer and has traveled around might be able to get a better nuanced insight onto that. Yeah.
What was the question?
Like in terms of like the mental health, like has it like kind of changed for you, like being here as opposed to like other like countries and all that?
I feel like you take yourself with you wherever you go. Yeah. So I have a community here. I have friends here. I have a purpose here. I'm developing like a really solid career here. So I feel good about being here. I have like run my business in other countries, but it can get kind of lonely. Here, however, like I feel like I have more of my people here, so I feel good to be home. But at the same time, inflation is killing me. OSAP, like the student assistance, it doesn't catch up with the level of inflation. So paying rent is really, really, really effing hard. It's very difficult to live here. Economically, I would say, on a scale from 1 to 10, it's like a 4 out of 10 to live here. Socially, probably about a 6 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. If there's like one thing that, or like anything that you want to like improve, like in this like country and all that, like what would like be and all that?
I mean, I know it's borderline an impossible venture, but getting food prices down I think would be a good start. It's a very complicated equation that's I don't think it's going to happen overnight or even ever. We'll obviously see, but I mean that would be the main thing. I think. I mean, there's just so many grocery stores that are just an absolute, complete, utter ripoff.
Yeah.
It's completely dismal. So I mean that would be the main thing for me. The whole house pricing situation is obviously really bad, but ultimately you can go move to the country and get a good size home for $600,000 and maybe just under $1 million type of thing. Whereas getting a home here in Toronto is just not really going to be pretty well affordable. Yeah, it's not a reality for most people. So that kind of sucks. But I mean, you do have options in that sense. But the food is just like you're kind of fucked no matter what, regardless if you live in the country or the city, And it's like, okay, I got to go buy milk again. Time to start.
Time to budget.
Time to start picking through my pockets, And there's just like only butterflies coming out of your pockets, Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's like even for the simplest necessities, it's just like you're stressing about it here. So inflation's a problem. The economy, like obviously, is crashing right now. The whole world is in a state of that. But at the end of the day, like you got to just take it day by day and realize like this is where we're at. What are we going to do about it in this very moment? And right now I'm just trying to appreciate what I do have instead of what I don't. And Canada is where I'm at, so I'm trying to appreciate my social community, which is people that I feel comfortable with, people that support me, and people that lift me up. Whereas in other countries I've felt very lonely before, whereas things were cheaper for me as an expat to survive economically. So I appreciate being here, but there are consequences to every certain situation, right?
That's good to know either way. And if there's like one final word you would like to say, like in terms of like mental health or Canada or anything like that, just shout it out.
Anything to say about mental health or?
Like if you want to give like advice or like anything like recommendations and all that.
Oh, recommendations. Okay. Canada specific or general?
I'd say like specific to Canada for the most part.
Okay. I think financial awareness and understanding of how to save is very important, and some people might say how to invest might be a more nuanced and resource way to go about that. But I've honestly really benefited from getting in touch with people that actually know how to do money. Lots of businesses throughout Canada can help you to manage your finances and put some of your money in an RSP and something else in a TFSA. So you have, so there's lots of different ways you could save money that a lot of people don't think about. People use just checking accounts, saving accounts. And for me, it's just been really nice to know that just because of my good habits over the years, I don't have to. I'm not working paycheck to paycheck, and I'm not struggling. I'm not getting crushed by the weight of the world, because ultimately, I have built up all of those little safety nets through intelligent saving. And there's been no year in my entire life where I've really made a shocking ton of money at any point, really. But it's just saving the pennies and putting them in the right places. Through some good advice has really helped me out.
That's it. I have had points in my life where I've made a shocking amount of money, but putting it away and understanding that.
Just want you to know I make a fuck ton of money, and Kaz is poor.
I mean, like, yeah, like I'm a business person myself, so I understand how to make money, keep money, where to put it. But at the end of the day, the economy is always changing, so you have to be adaptable. And it's a very volatile adaptation right now in the economy.
Yeah, that's facts. Thank you for your time and all that, So
Absolutely.
I'm here today with.
I'm Reed.
Nice to meet you, Reed. So, Reed, how are you doing today so far?
Doing pretty well.
And I'm assuming you're born and raised in Canada, correct?
Right here in Toronto.
So, how do you like growing up like in Toronto, or like how did you like the life like in Canada like so far and all that?
Well, I've loved it. I mean, like, Toronto's a nice place. You know, everything's here. Nothing really you can't do. Of course, it has its ups and downs, but it's a great city. I love being raised here.
For sure. And as far as like the quality of like life like in Canada and all that, like how was like your quality of like life so far?
Well, it's been pretty great. I mean, I haven't really had anything too bad happen because like I live in Canada. I'd say it's a pretty good quality of life here.
For sure. And has it like kind of like improved like your mental health, like living here and all that, like experiencing like the city and all that for the most part?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, walk outside, it's just a sunny day like this, and yeah, Toronto's like really good for your mental health if you see it right.
For sure. And were there like some things that kind of like that you did to like kind of like improve like the mental health and all that you want to like recommend?
Well, I'd just say go on a walk on a sunny day, because like Toronto's always sunny on days like this. Just go on a walk. That's all I'm gonna say.
For sure. And if there's like one thing that you want to add to like recommend to Canada, or like recommend like for like people to kind of like improve their like mental health, like what would you say?
I'd just say go outside more. Like, there's so much stuff that people don't do here. Yeah, Toronto's full of hidden gems outside. I'd just say go outside, explore more.
Sounds good. Thank you for your time, man.
Thank you.